Let's take a deep breath. If you feel like closing your eyes for maybe 2-3 seconds, feeling the sit bones on the surface that you're sitting on. Taking another deep breath with an audible sigh. And if you open your eyes and maybe look around you in the room, physically turning your head to one side. What do you see there? Physically turning it to the other side. Noticing the color of the walls. What is there? What do you see? And also take a look behind you so the nervous system can be sure that there is no tiger or polar bear behind Cher. Or maybe there is a polar bear.
Not today. He's in a different room.
You see?
Teddy bears. There's lots of teddy bears.
Yes.
All right, taking another deep breath with an audible sigh. Welcome. If you want to put your screen into gallery mode so that you see everybody if it's available to you. If not, don't worry. And let's welcome visually each other. Do you want to do the intro, Jesus? Introduce the intro round.
Yes, sure. Well, let's do it very simple. If everyone can say your name and where are you right now? I start. My name is Jesus Acosta, and I am in Devon. Totnes is the southwest of England.
Am I ready?
Yes.
Yes. My name is Julia. I live in Edmonton, Alberta. This is the same city as Eden.
Welcome, Julia.
Hi, this is Cher, who comes up as Fletcher's phone, which is, I guess, my phone. And I also live in Edmonton, Alberta, in the Great White North.
Wow. Welcome, Cher.
Aiden. I live in Edmonton, Alberta.
We're well represented.
Yes.
You guys are well represented. Welcome.
We're eager to learn.
What else do you do on a snow day?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Judith. I'm calling in from Berlin.
Yay. Welcome, Judith.
Sunshine outside.
Yeah.
My name is Larissa. I'm also calling from Edmonton.
Wow.
Wow. Aiden is just such an inspiration to us all. So.
Oh, welcome, Larissa.
You are an influencer, Aiden.
You are an influencer.
Yeah, but people read my emails. Who knew?
That's nice.
Yeah, I made that mistake, Aiden. Sorry.
Oh, it's such a great group.
Yes. My name is Ala. I'm also in Berlin right now. And today we have Candela Ramos as our guest. And I'm just gonna say a couple words about her. Basically, how I saw, like Aiden was saying, I saw a video of her, and where she was saying that the axis is not stability, is availability. And it just blew my mind. Just that one phrase. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I want to talk about it. So I messaged her and we started talking, and this is how it all came together. And I'm just gonna turn it over to Cande, to you, so you can introduce yourself, and we're gonna have an experience that Cande is gonna be leading, and then we're gonna have a conversation, and then we're gonna wrap up. That's the structure for today. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I am in the south of France, in the Pyrenees. I live here for a while now. Who knows? I am a bit nomad, so you never know where I'm gonna be, but few years here. And yeah, I started with this proposition of sharing a bit my perspective on tango. Um, I also want to use that space as sharing the voice of others, because for me the most important is to not be in a fixed image and in a fixed place, in a fixed thought. Since always I have this mind or this curiosity, like that it's thriving by a precise researcher. So I like to experience the things and rethinking the things again and again and again. So I don't like to hold myself to just one truth, as more as a contemplation of all the beauty and all the wisdom that is there to be discovered yet. Um, and that really guided my path. I was already 12 years ago in Berlin. I was living there, and I met this group of researchers that are focused on biomechanics and physics and physiology and anthropology. And they were dancers, and they are athletes and osteopaths and kinesiologists and circus people. So it's like a bunch of people that work with somatics, but all from different disciplines, and they all look at the body in a way that is, a field of exploration, right? If, something like encrypted wisdom there for us still to discover. And that really brought into my tango a lot of richness and richness in the movement, but also a way of observing, right? A way of learning, a way of appreciating each voice, right? And that all of that is tango too, into the people that dance tango de salon, until people that dance traditional or even show things, right? Um, Now it's crossing every culture. So all of that brings such a complexity that we live in the body. And when we go to somewhere and we dance with another, no, with a person that is from another world, with another culture, with another language, maybe we cannot even communicate. And tango brings that bridge, right? And so, from this perspective, I am working since already, 12, 15 years. Even though before I was already dancing and teaching. I am from Buenos Aires, so I started when I was very, very young. Very recently, I met a friend of mine here in Toulouse that we grew up together, and now he was like passing on a tour around here, and we were like chatting from when we were kids, but talking in a milonga in Toulouse. It was like, what amazing, right? Because we didn't never thought of that when we were kids. It was amazing, this contrast, right? Um, but yeah, so this brought me to dissect and pull out the ideas on tango that sometimes are very strict, right? Like the axis, for example, the concept of the axis, which usually for me is looked from a place of something, an image that we have to achieve, that the body has to fit in that image, instead of something that is a process. And it reflects a process, right? It's not something that is yeah, it's something that should serve us for dancing, not the other way around. Not if you achieve it, you can dance, right? So from that place, I started to relook at the axis, and really the two-dimension image of a straight line was not really something serving me for my dance, was actually tensing, no, like making me tense as I was trying out, and not really resolving the fact of having balance as we dance, right? Um, so it means it's a process, and it's a multi-factor relationship process. So you have many factors affecting that. One thing is the relationship with gravity, right? That is there, and that we can't really avoid to fall, is that like we are falling constantly. The fact that we sometimes we're more used to the feeling, and we're managing some positions or some situations where we feel stable and we don't feel that we fall, but gravity is constantly there. Just when you are like lying down completely is the only moment you are not doing something actively towards that. But if not, you are all the time relating to gravity. Um, and tango is really for me, it's a feel that puts you in this very thin situation, right? Respected to the axis. How do you manage? How you are very aware of that? That just like a millimeter, you feel it, right? You need to feel it in order to keep navigating, right? So tango is it's a challenge of proprioception in a way, which is the capacity of the body, the capacity of the joints to tell you how you are in space, and how to manage the movement, right? How to respond to that. um so yeah, this is the gravity is the first relationship, and then we have our own state in that precise, no, specific moment of the individual structure. So each one, we have different volumes, right, in the body. I am like shorter probably than all of you, for example. No, like all of that, or the weight of our body, no, is different in each one. So the strategy is going to be different for each one also. So I cannot say, hey, let's find the axis in this way all together, because each one has to work with what we have, no, as a body reference. Then also, plus the volume, we have the tone of our tissues, right? Um, the muscular tone also. So all of that is included in there. And then of course we have the partner that comes also into the account with another input and with the talking. All of that for me is into the result of what the axis is going to be emerging up, right? Also, there is something very, for me, beautiful to work that is not just physic yeah, that is not just physical, but it's also the respond. Like the axis for me show us how do we respond to impulses and to inputs that are coming from outside. So if we do a movement, right, and we are afraid of falling in the movement, or actually of losing control, for example, of a movement, probably we will react tensing, right? If we respond from the fear. And that's something that it's gonna actually like, makes you drive with less options into your dance. Finally, at the end, it's all fine, no? But when we work on this and when we practice the axis, for me, the beauty of this practice is to realize, oh, how am I responding to this fear or to this will of wanting to control, right?
Should we try it out?
Definitely. Yeah, we're gonna try out all that. So yeah, I have just like one little example that was beautiful the last week. Because I am teaching to students that are beginners and that started in September, and now really they went so fast into their way of practicing because the practice was actually to tune more with sensations rather than copying or trying to achieve an image. And they're going so fast. They're doing boleos, they're doing ganchos, they're doing barridas, and it's like they tell me, Candela, I forget after the structure, but I felt how my body navigates through the structure well, right? So it was very interesting to see this approach of like what is happening when we embody, no? When we are in the body, feeling how our body is responding, no? To our goal, to our process, actually, rather than trying to conquer an image. I had this one student that I told her, you know what? When we were dancing in a private, and suddenly she was like using so much her arms with me. I was like, I need to find a solution for this fast, right? Like, how do I do for her to stop using her arms to not to conquer a sensation of stability in the dance? And I told her, when you are flying, you're in a flight, right? Or you are a bird flying. And then suddenly you're in the air. You can't say, oh my God, I have fear right now of this fall. I want to land right now. You can't, right? You are landing, you're flying, you are going. You need to slowly, right? Make a slow down and a landing process. You can't directly in the moment like freeze. If you freeze, you will crash. The same is with dance, right? When we block, when we gather things in the body together, when we lose the ability to listen each little joint, we stop adapting. And when we stop adapting, we freeze. And we hope that muscles manage the situation or arms with my partner manage the situation. I told her, really keep flying. You're in the flight, fly. Just with this, she didn't fall again in the whole class. And I didn't have to explain her anything about axis, about the spine, about about any biomechanic thing neither that I could have to tell her. Just with this idea, she was flying already. She was dancing without falling. So it was not that she was falling. Actually, it was the responding. It was the reaction to thinking that she will fall. So that far, I think it can go into psychology also, right? This topic. All of that.
Everything is interconnected.
Exactly. So now, yes, we can, I don't know if you have a little space, we will not need much space, but we can stand up where we are. We're gonna just experiment a little bit. I hope I can sample what my words said. So just where you are, close your eyes and just land a little bit on your feet. You can close your eyes. You can also, sorry, we are gonna shake a little bit first. So just a little up and down movement where you're gonna use this moment to just redistribute a bit the tension of your body. Really, it can be up and down. It can be side to side with the shoulders, with the hips, a little shake of being seated, because we were already 30 minutes seated. So hope, where with this you are resetting, your body to feel a bit more. Another good exercise to allow your body after to have a more clear feedback is undulations. So we can also if I'm here, you can go with the head, chest, and pelvis a little bit. And this is an exercise that I like to do small also and to do big. You can start with the head, you can start with the pelvis, like you're waving your spine, like waking up the origins, the water origins of the spine, right? And then you have side to side. So you have side flexion, lateral flexion, and you can do it with the shoulders, with the pelvis. Whoop. You can find different coordinations of that, or with the head. And then you can have a little bit of a torsion. You can do it with the pelvis. You can do it with the shoulders, with the head. Like a very, very small version where everything is going to the opposite. Very, very small. You can also go head, chest, hip, chest, head, chest, hip, chest, head. Always a little coordination exercise also will open up perception. Right? You're like waking up perception there. And a little wavy, before we go, a little wavy thing in all of the directions. So you have the 6 directions, right? Forward and back, side to side, and torsion. And very minimal, right? Very, very small one. To just warm up small movements, small adjustments in the spine. Okay, now yes. Better, no? We close the eyes. Now yes, and I would like you to feel that your knees, your ankles, your hip joint, your whole spine, your shoulders, your clavicles, your neck is available, or all of those joints are available to adjust are available to flex and extend, to micro adjust, and you will feel if your weight has a preference of where to go in your feet. So if there is a direction that the weight wants to go more or has the tendency to go, hopefully when you close your eyes, you will start to feel the weight oscillating, right? If your ankles, your knees, your hip joints are available to movement, then your weight should be moving, right? Should be moving and should be starting to feel like falling. And when you feel that oscillation of your weight, allow it to happen and allow it to like go through your whole plant of the feet. And as you feel the limit, no, of your feet or of one of the foot, you will take that weight back into somewhere a feeling of a center area, right? It works much better with the eyes closed because you lose the reference of the space and you have just the reference of the floor. If you're not feeling the oscillation, probably your heels are not yet relaxed and are still holding the strategy of keeping you vertical. But I would like you to leave that hierarchy that has the heels there trying to hold you up and start to feel the beginning of a fall. And then you can also, so everyone is there with me or not?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe like, yeah, thumbs up. Great. Okay. So with that, great, thank you. Okay, with that oscillation, feel that there is this moment where your body reacts, right, to that fall, and reacts usually with tension. Either you tense your toes up, right? Either your thighs, either your stomach even start working. And I would like that you bring back to this felt center place area a little bit before that moment of tension, right? So when you feel this moment of a lot of tension to get back your weight, then it means you went a little bit too far. Feel when is the moment to redirect that fall before you get tensed with that. Recognize your limits. Recognize when is the moment of your body that maybe weighted too much, and when would be a good timing for your body to respond to fall without stress. One of the strategies to not stress out some muscles to hold back the fall is to use the volumes of the body, right? For example, if I am falling forward, my hip could be making a contraposition backwards, so that can save me. The weight of my hip is gonna bring me back rather than my muscular effort, right? And if I am falling backwards, my head, for example, could be something that I could bring forward in order to not fall. or to stop the fall, to redirect the fall. And also it's a good question, as we are in this zone of starting a fall. It's also a good question if there is a tendency to fall to one direction, right? If there is always a tendency to go to the right, or always to the left, or always to a corner, a diagonal in my foot, in one of the foot. Like, where is easier for my body to fall? And that probably will tell us, or will tell you, a lot of things about your axis and how to, because if you know where to fall, commonly fall, then you can know how to redirect, right? And how to work with that in movement too, in the motion. And so now we will slowly, if you're in a very, very small place, you can a little open your eyes, just a very little. Keep with this fall. And I would like that you don't redirect that fall to the center, but that you follow that fall with few steps. You start falling and you allow the motion so that you redirect or recover from that fall within few steps. And when you regain balance, feel this moment of suspension that we have, right? That there is a moment of suspension and a moment of falling. Moment of suspension and a moment of falling again. Suspension and falling again. And check if in that moment of suspension, your spine is available to extend, actually, also. Yeah, if your spine is available to go with that extension, or to go with that suspension. Or if you're falling, turning, if your torsion is happening, or it's here and there too. And slowly we make it smaller and smaller and smaller, and so small that you're again back in these 2 feet, but still with this dynamic of this wavy, like a wave dynamic. Yeah. In the way your weight is moving. And recognize these moments of like falling and this moment of like of suspending. And you can go to one leg and try to like hold that suspension for a little bit longer. And when you have that moment of suspension, check if you can like lift the other leg out of the ground and then back into ground. Probably after this moment, it's hard to hold that leg up, but it's interesting to just it's a kind of, it's an exercise that doesn't look for a result, that actually you are in a scanning, right? In a scanning mode where you will feel, okay, that's the way of that my body sometimes organizes. What is my pelvis doing? What is my head doing? Are they compensating? Am I having a torsion that is holding me or not? My pelvis is twisting or not? My chest is twisting or not? Which part of my body is not really adjusting or being mobile or moving? Which part is fixed into this organization? And slowly you can allow this fall to go to find a ground. Yeah, and find an end, a very soft end, smaller and smaller. And if you have your eyes closed, you can slowly open them. And when you're gonna go and sit in the computer again, like feel how much weight is in a different constellation now. So as you put your head forward, right, as you sit down, all of those are situations to observe the weight and how do we compensate the weights of the parts, each part of the body.
Thank you. Thank you, Cande. Let's take a deep breath to land again. Cande, do you have a reflection question for this exercise? I'm aware that Cher has said that she needs to leave, and I would love to hear her voice. So I'm wondering whether you have a question, and then we can move to.
I don't know if she has a question, because I was just going to say that exercise was so great and so grounding for me, because I could actually feel all these little teeny micro corrections, like in my feet when we were standing on one foot, one leg. I could feel my hip, I could feel my leg, I could feel my pelvis. I could feel all these little sensations in the foot that we're trying to make sure that I wasn't going to tip over. Something that I never think about when you're on the dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating.
That's the body thinking, you know?
It's incredible.
Okay, Cher. I hope you,
Yes.
it's because, of course, you'll be leading all this on Monday.
I will be leading all of this. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to be doing the breathing, but micro, yeah, this should be fascinating. We'll do this with our slow-mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Like I've never spent time thinking about the sensations that are going on and all those little micro movements that are helping us be in the moment and stay upright, stay with gravity.
What would you say? How would you translate this experience into your dancing, into tango?
For me,
I was wondering about Cher because she was just talking, but then
I think I'd be more
no, please.
mindful. I would definitely spend more time being a little more mindful before taking that step. It's something I haven't articulated
Hmm.
inside my body. Yeah, fascinating.
Thank you for sharing, Cher.
But I would just like to catch Candela's before I go, and I will watch the replay.
Awesome.
You ask her the same question.
Yeah. Now you have to share, Cande.
No, yeah, no, I think it's beautiful. It's actually beautiful, the opening to translating, right? Because this is really an exercise that could really be not a tango exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also it's for me it's essential because it's this listening of micro at the micro level of the joints and the adjustments is really the process to refine more and more the sensations and the decisions that you take in tango after. So I am glad that it made the work. That
Yes.
it's
Oh no, it would be
good.
perfect for, I was just thinking about people who have had strokes or somebody that has Parkinson's and they're constantly struggling with balance and all
Mm,
of that. And just to stop and do an exercise like this
Mhm.
mm,
safely, maybe with the chair
mm,
So
for
fascinating.
them.
Every time in somatic therapy, I'm
Mhm.
observing how little we need. The only thing we need is to slow down. Everything
Yes.
else is just reveals itself if we didn't do anything, if we just sat there observing what's happening in the body, would be already like could fill a discussion. And it's yeah, magnificent for me to observe.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
I'll
you so
catch you later.
much.
Bye.
thank you,
Thank
Chef.
you. Bye.
Do you want some comments?
Yes,
Yes.
Ada wanted to share.
Um, First of all, uh, excuse me. I mean, it's so rich. Um, Listening to our bodies. So I can think of two examples. One is I go to a family constellations. Of course, Ella, I think you're the one who appreciates this. But the gentleman leads with the body scan, and it's very long and goes through every little joint and every little muscle and whatever. And I find it really tedious and fall asleep or get irritated halfway through. This goes on forever. But this is so much more dynamic to be sensing this as a balancing or losing your balance meditation. Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. It's lovely. But the other thing is then in dancing, um, my frustration or limit of my teaching ability or awareness, I suppose, when I'm trying to teach walking and people, students or all of us just want to step always. We just next step, next step, next step, next step. Show me a figure. Show me what do I do now, whatever. And jump, 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 jump. And I'm trying to get, wait a minute, we're moving, and as we move forward, our whole body changes, and our we do the rotation, we do the contra body, but our hip drops and our thighs collect and our knees and all that motion that's happening, like a panther walk, for example. and that's how we should move forward, forward, forward. But it's so hard to get that, communicate that. And I'm just seeing that this balance thing where we're just aware of how all of our body is compensating, or correcting or adjusting is so rich. And then the last point that I'm thinking of with relation to walking again, more and more as I walk, I'm aware that we one step, and then I pause as a lead. I wait to feel that we're both connected and settled and in balance together before I take the next step. And this sometimes takes 2-3 beats before the tension releases and just comfort. And the next step is possible. There's so much awareness that's required in listening and attentiveness and attunement. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciated that exercise. It was wonderful.
Thank you, Aiden.
I lost a bit the last part because it was not good, the audio. Could you
Well,
just like summarize the end because it was cut in the audio and I couldn't understand you. I
okay.
would love.
So first of all, your name is pronounced Candela?
Candela.
Candela.
Candela. Yeah.
Beautiful name.
Thank you.
When again, I'm back to walking. I mean, there's a couple of things. One is when we're talking, just dancing. So we might be talking, saying, doing a back ocho or a hero or a malinette or whatever. But for me, it's that the bodies are moving around each other and communicating, expressing, which is so rich, rather than I turn this way and then you step that way and you do a spin and then you step back around that way. It's like, what the hell was that? I mean, big bloody deal. You figured out what I wanted you to do and you did it. And now we're back to square one again. We do something else. And we missed all that communication, that entwining that happened between. But with walking as well, maybe because we don't do it all that often, maybe we're not that, but there's always that balancing, and it's and the settling in between the steps and the releasing of tension. So more and more as I walk, I wait in between each step just to feel that the tension has released itself between us as partners, and that we've settled into, and then we can take the next step. But I mean, to just kind of plow ahead or whatever without relaxing, finding the balance point in between, I suppose, misses the communication, but it's also crappy dancing. So.
Thanks, Aiden. And
Yeah.
Julia and Judith, if you wanna, and Larissa, obviously, if you wanna share.
And I just want to welcome Margot. She just joined. So yeah.
Hi, Margot.
Okay, then I'll be next. I think what Ala also said is, for me, it's really important. It's the slowliness, because if I go fast, I can kind of like go over uncertainty. But if I go slow, I am able to figure out where I need to adjust or which joints are not working well. And I think slowness is a big key. And the walking, I worked with clients a lot, and so many people need to learn to walk through like daily life walking. And walking with a partner, like in tango, doesn't make it easier for a lot of like dancers maybe also. So for me, it's really the point is if I'm not into my body and with my presence, it's so hard to communicate with the other person in front of me. So this exercise is for me, it's amazing. It's so important because I need to be in my body. I need to figure out how does it work, and then I'm able to transfer an invitation to the person in front of me. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, Julia, I think you have to unmute yourself first. Yeah, you're muted. And then we will be able to hear you. Jesus, can you unmute her?
Yeah, give me a sec. I don't know if I can.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you. I have to put my hands up here so I can hear. If I don't hear my voice, it's harder to talk. And I won't give you a medical explanation just yet. Thank you, Candela. There were several pieces that that I needed to be reminded of. Some of my teachers have said these pieces, but not quite like how you did. I've heard so much about access for years, and the word that you replaced in availability is very powerful for me. So thank you. Also, you addressing the trying to control is, for me personally, I'm very powerful because there's that piece of trying to control to make everything the way you want it to be, when probably it does the exact opposite. So I'm going to take that with me. And something that Judith said, the slow motion part. Like, I love slow motion, and I have for a long, long time. And it makes me wonder about other practices, which I've not looked into, like, for instance, Tai Chi walking. Like, what is that? Like, for some, and for me, as I continue to dance, the slow part becomes so much more important the more I dance. If I can dance with someone that's not afraid of being slow, it's wonderful.
Mm.
And Aiden is very good at that. So thank you for this.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you. Yeah. I just had a vision of how would if we merged Tai Chi with tango, how would it look like?
Mhm.
Slow motion tango, that would be so interesting. Kande, maybe do a workshop on that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julia.
I would like to share what you chose, Candela, and I'm fascinated with what your content in Instagram and your videos, because it's in a way creating a distance maybe from the normal experience I have had in tango classes, where it's very much focused on copying, learning sequences, learning steps, and then you go to a milonga trying to replicate, and then it's horrible because you end up overthinking and trying to do the correct ocho, and it just doesn't work, you know. I had an experience once a while ago when I attended one of the first milongas when it was like that. So I end up not dancing. And at the end, in the last song, someone invited me. And I said to myself, to hell with tango. Let's just walk and dance. So I decided to forget about my classes, my instructions, and just walk at ease wherever I wanted to go. And it was so wonderful. It was the most amazing walk and floor navigation I had the whole evening. Yeah, if every teacher would tell me, just fly, Jesus, that would be amazing, amazing pedagogy. You know, it's like, that's what we need.
Yeah, I'm just curious if Larissa wants to share something as well.
Yeah, I found it interesting relating tension to imbalance. So when you gave suggestions on how to counter that, like if you feel yourself falling forward, shoot your hips back. It was brilliant. That was it. That was easy peasy, and I got back to my stable point, I felt. Um, I found and then we were on the one leg with the leg raised. That was probably the most challenging, raising the leg off the floor, which you're not supposed to do, right? For that reason. So, but again, using those same principles of maybe the opposite, doing something opposite with a part of your body will help you to come back to balance. So, I think it just, what's the word? Maybe I do it into, maybe we do it like, or because we all move, we're not all falling all the time. So we're doing it, but you just made it known a bit more, I don't know how to say that.
Aware, conscious.
Awareness, like, yeah, exactly. Being able to label it, like, oh, so now I should be able to pull it back if I bring my awareness to my dancing, which I don't, I just fly. Sorry. Regardless of whether I'm in balance or not. No, but no, that was very interesting to have that reference.
Thank you, Larissa.
I wonder if anybody has a question or a reaction to what we all been sharing.
I would have a question about, oh, sorry, Judith, do you want to go? I just like a general question, a little bit what Aiden was saying about how we try to, I mean, everybody was kind of saying the same, that we're trying to do steps without feeling either our own body or the body of our partner. And my question is, do you, all of you folks, do you think that it's possible to do in the beginning? Because this is, for me, this was the new thing for me, where Kande was saying how she was teaching her new students to listen to their body. And for me, it's a little bit like my thinking goes to, but I have to learn the words first before I can speak. So how do you, I mean, even Kande or all of you, how do you think it's possible to learn the steps and and listen to our own body and to the partner. Like,
Mm.
is it possible? How is it possible? Like, yeah. And Judith, if you have your questions, you're totally welcome.
One thing to your question now is, I think if I know how I need to organize my own body, I can kind of like adapt this to my partner's body, because I will know what the body will how the body will respond. But if I just learn steps, it's kind of like I'm doing a step, and I'm lost. And the other thing is, what I was wanting to say is that our body is not built for stable in a way of tense, in like a tense stability. We are always moving. So the muscles they are built for moving, even if it's just tiny movements. And it's like breathing. We're always like shifting a little bit. And if we do that, we are way more stable because we go like a seagrass or whatever. I'm always able to react to something that happens. If I'm trying to be like this, um, try to use the underground, standing up like this, you will fall. But if you're flexible like this, it's way easier.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ella,
I'm
uh,
very
like,
thankful.
so Ella, I think that's the real question. What's the vocabulary and what's the conversation? And my sense of it is that the vocabulary we learn is understanding our own bodies and just all the stuff that Candela has been teaching us. Those are the words we need to learn first, and we bring them to the conversation. Tango is a very sophisticated conversation, and I think the problem is we just jump people right into this. We all have learned to jump into this sophisticated conversation without learning the basic vocabulary that's required, which is who we are in our bodies and how we move. And that needs to come first. And of course, people get bored and they say, "Come on, teach me some steps," and I want to look fancy, and I want this to feel like I see in the videos. But boy, we miss. Then we just have to peel it back, peel it back, peel it back. My experience was I learned so much during COVID, because I mean that was my huge learning about this, because I had no one to dance with, so I just had to dance with myself, and I learned so. And then when I came back to dance, it was just like entirely different, because all of a sudden I'm bringing myself. But Jesus, you talk about this all the time, and I just love it the way that you put it into words and such. Anyway, enough said.
I don't know whether Margot has the availability to talk or something, but you're very welcome to bring in your voice as well. And if you guys want to have a response, you're welcome.
Yeah, for me, it's like sometimes I see people that get distracted by by the distractors, and like distracted in the way of like escaping from feeling, because they have the desire of moving, they have the desire of dancing with someone, of embracing someone, but then when they are there is this reaction of like, wow, that's intense, and that's a lot to hold, right? And then we have the tendency to want to escape, right? When it's these situations that are intense to feel. So like I feel as an educator of movement, and like my wish is to actually bring the spaces where people get excited of feeling themselves, right? First, and curious, and like, oh my God, if I listen to myself, actually, there is so much already there. There is so rich, and there is so much to learn that, bueno, yeah, let's take a let's take a time before we take someone in our hands, right? um, but then is this other, for me, is not one or another one, right? Um, I think it's very important also to just jump in a swimming pool without thinking, right? And without knowing exactly what you are doing, because that's also giving another reference of awareness for the body. Let's say, okay, we do sacadas with rebotes and with changes of embrace, and like you're really studying a structure, which also means you are also learning some other words. Um, and you're kind of doing it, it's okay. Then for me is let go that. Do
Mm,
it and then let go. Like not, not wanting to do that in the milonga right away. Just take it as a game, because
mm,
that part of coping is also important. Like we are humans of coping, actually. Like that's how we learn to walk. The babies, when they're born, if they don't have anyone walking around, they will not walk. Like there are some, no, there are two girls that were raised by wolves, right? And they were not walking in 2 feet. So even though we have the physiology to do it ready, if we don't copy, and like it means copy directly, no? Or like other cultures, like a lot of African dances are based on, the transmission of the dance is by copying. So I wouldn't say that we don't have to copy, but yes, definitely to reconnect first with the feelings, right? Or to have also at hand that tool of, am I aware of how do I hold my own axis without someone else? Do I know how to compensate forces? How to compensate uh, the movement? How to take a decision, right? Because it's actually how to adapt. How do we adapt constantly? And in tango, the scenario is that it's always changing, right? The partner is always changing. Your own body is always changing. The music is changing. So it's all
mm,
these factors that what you need to learn in tango. First skill is to adapt, right?
mm.
So it's interesting. It's cool that, bueno, it's bringing up the desire to go there. That's success.
Can I ask you, Candela, what happens if you fall?
What happens?
Yes. I mean, you try,
I mean,
you do micro adjustments, right?
yeah,
To prevent the falling in a way. But what happens if you simply fall?
yeah. I enjoy the fall so much. I am always falling, and it's just that I know, like I learned to redirect the fall, and to not to control, but like to navigate the fall. So to slow down the fall, to accelerate the fall, to use it in favor, right? Because that's why we walk. Like one of the purposes of being humans, being creatures that walk, it's actually to use the momentum, right? To use the gravity force to move us, instead of us having to muscularly push everything. Then the muscles redirect, but they're not the ones carrying on our weight around all the time.
Mm,
And that's what I like. The thing is, for me, everything, the balance starts by getting in relationship with gravity, not preventing you from being in relationship. And being in relationship with gravity means to fall. For
mm,
me,
yeah.
then we can talk about the reaction to fall. why do we have this reaction of fear? Like, why do we want to stop falling, right? Instead of learning how to navigate, well, it's more dynamic. It's something that requires more attention, decentralized attention. You cannot be focused, and that's what the mind wants to do all the time, no? Like focus, focus. But the body has another kind of perception, right? It's not something focused, it's something decentralized. It's in everywhere at the same time. You need to feel like what part is really going out of, no? Of this line. And as I am dancing with a partner, I am dancing with the music, the floor even can be differently, my shoes can be differently. All of that is adding information that we need to like, the attention needs to be aware of that, including all, instead of no, just focusing on one thing, because it doesn't work. Yeah, if you don't probably, if you want to focus in one thing, you can't fall, because there are so many things that happens when you are falling, you know.
Mm.
It's another, it's also the availability of being out of control, you know, of like accepting that there are some things you cannot control.
That's so hard in the
That's
dance
super hard
floor
to
and in
leave,
life. Yeah.
to let go.
That's exactly when you said we also sometimes just need to jump in the pool. My first thought was there has to be like, I don't want to say balance, but there has to be a certain preparation of the psyche to be ready, because if you cannot swim, you shouldn't jump in the pool. You can drown. And with tango is, if you are not prepared to what you just said, to lose control, this is gonna, like, I remember my first experience when I took my first, I think, one or two tango lessons, and my teacher was like, no, come to Milonga, come to Milonga, you should come. And I was like, I can't dance. Like, I danced everything else. I know what it means to be able to dance, and I can't dance. Like, why should I go? No, no, come, come. So one guy just takes me, grabs me, and I'm like, I'm a very beginner, I can't. And of course, beginner to beginner is like, there is a wide span of being a beginner, but I literally just had like one or two lessons, and he just took me and I felt like a teddy bear. He just dragged me over the dance floor, and it almost, I don't want to say like traumatized, but like, I didn't want to go to milongas afterwards, because I was like, that experience, I don't want to do this again. So I want to say that there is a certain, now, for example, if I go to, let's say, whatever, kizomba, zouk, something, the dances that I don't dance, I can manage, you know. If somebody is just gonna say, oh, let's dance, and I'm like, I'm a beginner, and somebody say, oh, no, no, but let's try it, I'm like, okay, and I mess up, I'm fine. 15 years ago, I wouldn't be fine. I would not be fine. So I think there is a certain level of like mental capacity, preparation, to be willing to fall. Like, when you said, I enjoy falling. Ask any person on the street. I don't know whether they're gonna say I enjoy falling, you know? For me, that's why I think also we created this space to talk about things like that, to be aware of this, to be more open to go and fuck up, like, go and try things out and know that, oh, there is a Candela, she enjoys falling. Oh my God, I've never heard this before, but things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny, I have the feeling that I'm always falling when I am dancing tango. Is the dance of the weight. Like, you have other dances that are not so into being so precise about what is happening with the weight, right? For me, it's the dance of the weight,
But I
no?
think there is a difference. If you tell a beginner falling, it means like I see somebody falling on the ground. But like it's not that like losing balance and then continuing to dance, you know? I think these are like different concepts, if you wish, like
Mm.
different understandings. It's not that you're falling on the dance floor all the time. Like I don't think that you're like literally falling. Um,
Bueno, I am not falling to the ground, but I am starting every movement by falling. So
yeah,
I am getting in motion by falling. It's very hard to not be falling and be moving. It's just like almost impossible actually. So it's a way of like observing, right? It's like how do we find the language to talk about the body that is real with the body itself, that it's not yeah, that it's not an illusion as the vertical axis, because it's an illusion that it's not something real. So for me, yeah, I would say from the beginning, from the first class, I would say, what is a fall? You know, which is not just falling to ground, which there is like such an amount of degrees of like,
yeah.
of a fan of possibilities of what it is a fall. And it can be a microfall, you can call it, no, we can find ways to redefine better and being more and more precise. But starting with saying, hey, it's kind of a lie that we are moving and we're not falling when we're moving. No, um,
Yeah.
it's the way we talk, and it's fine. But I find that for me, from the beginning, like what you can do is to expose these differences. Like I don't know, like call the torsion a dissociation, like think words that we say that really don't mean what you want to mean. And I know the effort of because tango grew so fast that that professionals were finding the words they were finding to express what they were doing. I get it, but I think we are already in a point where we have such a crisscross of disciplines that we can develop more and more this precision with language of what we want to say, right? Because otherwise it gets flat then, right? Or misunderstood. And you get into that. And then that misunderstanding really translate into experience. And that's the thing, that you lose so much richness of an experience when you use one word or another, when you express in one way or another. So for me, it's this constant effort, right, to reach clarity on reality, no? It's like, is it a fall or is not a fall? Well, no, it's hard to like if you say to someone being on an on axis or in balance means not to fall. Bueno, it's not real. It's not the reality itself of what is happening.
Yeah, it's like bridging what is right now, like the status quo,
Yeah.
with where we want to go. Like,
Mhm.
how do people understand if you say I'm falling all the time? And where do you want to go? And to explain the definition and have like I think this is just the most challenging thing in life, the expectation of if we speak the same language, you're going to understand what I'm saying, right? And
Yeah.
like, I think that's why it was such a crazy, and we need to wrap up. I know.
Yeah.
Um,
Just one thing, I just want to say that it makes so much sense what you say when you say um, keeping your access is not about stability but availability.
Mhm.
It's just an amazing sentence that I'm keeping for myself.
Going.
I would like to add something. For me, it's like walking, it's actually it's falling from one step into the other, because what happens is that the chest is moving forward and then your feet or legs are starting to move. It's never you move your leg and then the upper body is following. So I really see this picture that I'm falling from one step into the next one, and I'm not falling down to the floor because my feet are kind of saving me.
Mm.
So normal walking is falling also.
Mm.
And it's a really nice, for me, it works totally. It's a really nice picture. And then Ala, if you drop a baby into a swimming pool, it will know how to swim because it's all into our bodies.
Mm.
But very often, like we bring all this information with us, but we kind of forget about it because we stop using it.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know the feeling I have is like, all this extra tension that we are holding in our bodies now is that part that is missing. It's like the falling part, the letting go part. It's there are moments of tension, there are moments of holding, no, of balancing or finding an stability of our structure, but then those moments of letting go, of meeting the fall, is allowing the body to actually like liberating, letting go tension. Otherwise, like it's all these bodies of like, oh, so heavy to hold, right? All of that all the time.
And that's why, for me, trauma work is so important, because if we don't deal with what happened to us, we're not babies, unfortunately. Judith, I so agree, but we're not babies. We had our experiences, and that's why we have, like, the body keeps the score, as Van der Kolk said. And that's why if I don't know, but this is just my theory. Like, if you drop a grown up that cannot swim into water, that person will, let's say, in the majority of cases, not immediately learn how to swim, but rather drown.
Mm.
So for me, that's why, like, yes, it's all about letting go and releasing the control over the situation. And I think this is the most difficult part for our with all the experiences, with all the baggage that we're bringing. I think this is what we're trying to do. We try to control, we try to not lose control, we try to, like, oh it, and it's also natural. The brain tries to predict, so it's not even something that we are like doing on purpose or not. And we have 3 minutes, but I think we're going to go over a little bit, if everybody is okay with that, to have as a closing round, few words about what you're taking with you from this call, and maybe something for the future. Like, if you felt like there was something, this I would want to talk in the future calls, or so we will definitely consider it too.
I have just one question, Candela. You had, I think you had said dissociation was an incorrect word, and what word would you use instead of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say incorrect, or I wouldn't say incorrect because, but I would say that there are words that are expressing better what it means. And I would say, for example, torsion, rotation, no? But dissociation means that you stop associating things. And that's not what you're doing when you are torsioning, spiraling. I don't know, like, no, there are so when you're like studying how this part relates to that one, right? To the pelvis, the chest and the pelvis, or the upper body and the lower part. You're studying the relationship and how that those parts articulate, but not dissociate, not like separate.
Make it not relate. Make it not relate.
Exactly. Make them not talk to each other. Bueno. Then don't move them, right?
Yeah, good luck.
That's what I would say. But I don't want to say incorrect, because it had a place, it had a moment of, you know, of the story where it was useful. But yeah.
Okay, if I have to express something I will take away from this session is my willingness to practicing falling more.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm feeling very grateful for Candela's generosity and presence, really learning a lot from her.
Thank you. Julia unmuted herself.
I like what you said, Jesus, about practicing falling, and also in what you said about your last dance at the Malanga, about just walking, and I love walking, and I'm going to take away a lot from this, but the concept, not but, and the concept of walking, I'm going to pursue that because I'm learning how to lead, and I'm getting kind of messed up with the steps. And perhaps if I just walk, I'll get to where I want to go. So thank you, Candela, for your generosity. And it's nice to talk to like-minded tangos. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you so much.
I think what I will take from this is along this metaphor of vocabulary, because we do need to have vocabulary to dance tango. But what I find about it's kind of like language learning for me. There might be vocabulary, there might be some words, they do communicate, but your accent is how you feel inside your body. Or, often you can share a word, but maybe not necessarily understand it. If they just pronounced it a little bit differently, you might hear, or you might understand it. So, the inside, like that biomechanical or the inside perception of all proprioception, all that, for me, it's just a refining. It makes it just feel good in the body, and then I think the other person also hears it perhaps a little more clearly. So that's how I've taken it. I'll play with it, see what happens. I'll tell Aiden how it works out. He can let me know.
Thank you, Larissa. Thank you. Aiden looks like he's blissfully happy.
I'm just thinking, my goodness, I'm going to go back on Monday and I'm going to teach the same way I've been teaching, which is entirely the opposite. But making the assumption that it's not wrong, but it gets to be expanded or massaged or just led into something richer and fuller. And so I'm figuring out how to make that bridge without going back and saying, if Candela was here, she'd be saying that everything I said was really dumb and really wrong. And I know you wouldn't say that, but I mean, that's in my head. That's how I'm balancing these two voices. And this, no, there's a bridge, there's a connection, there's, it's not this or that, it's bringing them together and trying to find the overlay. So yeah, I'm going to work on the overlay. And it's been quite brilliant. I love it. And I know I'm going to find my own truth in the whole thing. As Larissa said, it's our accents that we bring from inside ourselves. And I'm excited about playing with it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Aiden. Judith. I'm just picking on people.
I'm just so happy because it's I will be dancing tonight. I'm going to Milonga and I will be like very very I won't say wobbly, but very flexible. Yeah, I'm looking forward to just take this to the Milonga and just get it into the body right away. Yeah, embodiment.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Taking a lot
you.
away.
Thank you. I found this conversation so rich, and yeah, there are so many little things that are probably still gonna land for a while. And definitely thank you, Kande, for being here, for agreeing to share your wisdom and experience with us. Yeah. Jesus, you want to say something, right? I can see it in your eyes.
Well, no, really. I think I already say what I wanted to say. I will be just reiterating my gratitude, yes, to Candela, and to all of you who were sharing so openly and so honestly and clearly. Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation, for the opening. I know these topics sometimes are a bit also controversy, right? So I am grateful for the ears and the bodies that are open to this process. And as Adam said, it's not about for me like putting in opposite position of what is happening. It's actually to bring questions, and that's for me the beauty of that way of thinking, right? Of like questioning more and more, making the question rather than finding an answer right away. No, it's so. Thank you for creating these spaces that
And,
allows that process.
and by the way, I think you are honoring what you're saying. Those last Instagram posts you put with questions for different people.
Yeah,
You can ask one question to 10 different teachers or dancers, and you always have a different answer and a different perspective. Not necessarily contradictory, but complementary.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the idea. I am landing. I am like it's a long process because I get in contact with many people, but that's the idea to like share the diversity. Yeah.
And this is also exactly what you just said. I also couldn't find many people who were talking about this. That's why we created the space. And it's so interesting because we find each other like little by little, like these particles find an affinity to get together. And because for me, this is like I'm seeking depth. And how can I get depth in tango, in dance, if I disregard this huge part that is sensations and body and movement, if I just learn steps and swing my leg really high and my arm really like whatever, and like, yeah, but and then what? So yeah, it's really beautiful to watch the people getting together who are interested in this too. So thank you all so much.
I am writing down my email. If you